Dear head lovers, welcome back to Airhead Barn. It's time to continue our R90S restoration project, and after all inspections we've done with the drivetrain, it's actually time, and we are very excited about that we can start putting things back together. So in next several episodes we are going to focus on the engine. So for today the plan is to put together oil pan with a new gasket. Also oil Sump pickup with that small gasket will also be mounted, and then we will install new oil filter. In the next episodes we plan also to put our cylinders and heads back and seal that top end. And also what we plan to do is replace the chain. Sprockets seem to be in a pretty good shape, so we will keep them. But chain needs to be replaced because it seems that it got some stretch and flex is actually more than I would like it to be. Alright, without further ado, please join me today with the installation of a lower part of the engine, including some pickup, oil pan and oil filter. Okay, so we have our engine case and all parts nicely cleaned, and actually it's a time to start putting gaskets back and torque everything back together. So in the past I noticed that especially this gasket, for the oil pan, sometimes it can leak. And what I was using before was a gasket cinch, and then gasket that I have is actually the one that is a paper gasket, but it has like a thermoactive glue. So when engine case heats up, this one becomes gluey and then seals basically against the case. This can be hit or miss, basically. So on some of the bikes that I restored, it worked from the first. With some it did not. In the past, and that's what I learned from my father, the best actually method to prevent leakage is first you need to make everything flat, and that's what we did here with a sanding block, both on a pan and also engine case. And when the surface is really nicely flat, the next thing what you want to do is actually use some tacky grease like bearing grease and then put it on a gasket. That helps to avoid that leakage, but also when you want to remove gasket, since you don't have any kind of adhesive there, it's really easy to remove it. And I really tried with the gasket cinch and adhesive. I cannot say that I'm very happy about it, and for that reason I'll switch back to the proven method that I always used, and that's using bearing grease. Any bearing grease can work, but for this case I'm using LM50 from Liquimoly. Alright. First we will put some grease on this gasket that goes on a Sump pickup. This helps gasket stay in place, but also it makes it really nice and soft. So it should not leak. All right. And now we need to torque these screws They go like 10 Newton meters, which would be 88 inch-pound. I like to go a tiny bit lighter here, including same screws that are used for the oil pan. I like to use 84. Okay. Screen was nicely cleaned. So I want to spread this grease lightly and even. You don't need to go thick, you just want to make it very, very thin and nicely covered. Okay, that should be enough. So next time we need to remove it, that shouldn't be an issue because it's covered with grease and it should provide really nice sealant surface. Okay. Okay, now we will torque everything to 84 in crisscross pattern. Always good idea to use torque wrench for this, because you don't want to stress too much this gasket, because then it actually bends and it will leak. Alright. Plug with new crush washer. Alright, and now we are going to install filter. So this flat type of a cover is basically used for /5 and /6, and there are two covers. So there is outer cover and inside cover that seals against the filter. For this particular or this type of the closing that they used, you don't need that white O-ring known as $2,000 O-ring, so this system does not need that one. And basically you can use either straight type of a filter, or you can use hinged type of a filter. So since I plan to put crash bars back, it's advisable to use hinged type, because later you can easily remove it when crash bars are on your way. Okay, make sure that these black O-rings are in place when inserting, and you just go over the pipe that's already here in a housing of a filter. Alright, and now all you need is actually install this inner cover, and then there is a screw okay, and now you torque it, and this one goes to 40 Newton meters. So usually when you buy filter, inside you will have a couple of things, and that's new crush washer for a drain plug. You will have that white O-ring that I was talking about, and also some shim that for other type of a cover where you have only one cover, it's necessary to provide enough of the surface for crushing this O-ring. All those things are not needed here, and the only needed thing is basically a gasket that goes on outer cover. Okay. Okay, folks, that's it regarding oil pan, sump pickup, and oil filter. And I hope you enjoy this, find this useful. And in the next episode, we are going to focus on installing our cylinders and heads. Thank you so much, and thanks for watching.